Campaign draws to a close with U.S. facing a crossroads. President Donald Trump and Democrat challenger Joe Biden have one last chance to make their case to voters in critical battleground states on Monday, the final full day of campaign that has laid bare their dramatically different visions for tackling the nation's pressing problems and for the office of the presidency itself. The candidates are seeking to lead a nation at a crossroads gripped by a historic pandemic that is raging anew in nearly every corner of the country and a roking over race. More than 93 million people have already voted, and each campaign insists it has a pathway to victory. Though Biden's options for picking up the 270 electoral college votes needed to win are more plentiful, Trump is banking on a surge of enthusiasm from his most loyal supporters. The president's final day has him sprinting through 5 rallies from North Carolina to Wisconsin. Biden, meanwhile, was devoting most of his time in Pennsylvania, where a win would leave Trump with an exceedingly narrow path. Biden was also dipping into Ohio, a show of confidence in a state where Trump won by 8 percentage points 4 years ago. Heading into the closing 24 hours, Trump and Biden each painted the other as unit for office and described the next 4 years in near opposite terms if other were to win. The Biden plan will turn America into a prison state, locking you down while letting the far left riots roam free to loot and burn. Trump thundered Sunday at a rally in Iowa, one of the 5 he had held in a battleground state. Biden said America was on the verge of putting an end to a presidency that's fanned the flames of hate. When Americans is hard, I believe the message is going to be clear. It's time for Donald Trump to pack his bags and go home, Biden said in Philadelphia, the biggest city in a state that could decide the presidency. We're done with the chaos and tweets, the anger, the hate. As the candidates close out the campaign, the pandemic, which has killed more than 230,000 Americans and cost nearly 20 million to lose jobs, reached a new peak in infection rates, threatening yet another blow to lives and livelihood of voters. The election caps an extraordinary year that began with Trump's impeachment, the near collapse of Biden's candidacy during the crowded Democratic primary, and then was fully reshaped by the coronavirus outbreak. A record number of voters have already been cast through early voting or mail-in ballots, which could lead to delays in their tabulation. Trump has spent months claiming, without evidence, that the votes would be ripe for fraud, while refusing to guarantee that he would honor the election result. In the starkest terms yet, Trump on Sunday threatened litigation to stop the tabulation of ballots arriving after Election Day. As soon as the polls closed in battlegrounds such as Pennsylvania, Trump said, "We're going in with our lawyers." It was unclear precisely what Trump meant. There is already an appeal pending at the Supreme Court over the counting of absentee ballots in Pennsylvania that are received in the mail in the 3 days after the election. The state's top court ordered the extension, and the Supreme Court refused to block it, though consecutive justice expressed interest in taking up the priority of the 3 added days after the election. Those ballots are being kept separate in case the litigation goes forward. The issue could assume numerous importance if the late arriving ballots could tip the outcome. Under the shadow of possible legal battles, Pennsylvania loomed as most important battleground on the map. For Biden, who lives in neighboring Delaware, Pennsylvania has long been the focus of his campaign. A bulk of tobacco blocked Trump from securing the electoral votes needed for re-election. Both he and his running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, and their spouses will crisscross the state on Monday. But Biden's other travel telegraphed his campaign's hope to deliver a knockout blow to Trump that would make any Pennsylvania legal challenges essentially irrelevant. Biden added a last stop to Iowa, a state where Trump once had a stabilized lead and cannot win without. That came on the heels of the ticket's push into other formerly reliable Trump strongholds like Iowa and Texas, as well as Georgia, where the Democrats' most popular surrogate, former President Barack Obama, was set to campaign Monday. But even as Biden enjoyed strong poll numbers, the move to expand the map revived anxiously among Democrats, carried by Trump's 2016 upset over Hillary Clinton, whose foray into red states may have contributed to losing longtime party stake strongholders such as Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Facing a shortage of campaign cash, Trump has been unable to compete with Biden over the airwaves and has rallied on rallies to fire up his base and generate media coverage. The rallies, arguably the most dominant political force of the last 5 years, could draw to a close Monday, with stops in North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and 2 in Michigan. The last will be in Grand Rapids, the same city where Trump held his final 4 years ago. Trump is focusing his last rounds of stop only on states he won 4 years ago, playing defense in a campaign that has become a referendum on his headlining of the pandemic. Both parties say the election holds outsized importance given the confluence of challenges facing the country. Adam Gentleson, a progressive strategist and former top aide to ex-Senator Democrat leader Harry Reid of Nevada, said Election Day lives up to overused political billing of being the most important of the country's collective lifetime because it is about restoring the basic structure of a functioning multiracial democracy that can be representative to the will of its people, which is something that's gotten lost over the past couple of decades. Republican strategist Allison Stewart said the pandemic, the economy, the race relations in American have all coined in unprecedented ways, but that election day's outcome won't bring an immediate fix no matter what happens. If 2020 is the most contentious election of our lifetime, heaven help us for 2024, Stewart said. I'm calling Noah and will start building the ark. And thank you for watching this news report right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Goodbye, everyone.